So I was just sitting here looking for my family history, and I wanted to do a little bit of research. But what kicked me to start this video was basically Grand Sheik Taharka Bey. He was making a video about Tariq Nasheed's ancestry. Um, and I was listening to the video. I don't know why these brothers have to go back and forth. I don't think it's good for the public's eye. I don't think it's good for the private's eye. Um, like we really need to be on one accord, and we need to have not animosity for each other, but we need to have absolute peace. You know what I mean? But I was listening to the video, and uh, I found out that, and I kind of been knew this, but like we shouldn't take the name of um and we're not supposed to, right? We're not supposed to take the name of our um father. We're not supposed to do that, right? And the reason I say that is because when I read the Iroquois Constitution, and it says things like well, what would it say? It will say things like your inheritance comes from your mother. Your inheritance is supposed to come from your mother. So this was like a couple years back. This had to be like in 2017. I was surfing the net, and I was looking up in Harik and all of that. I came across a website. It was an Ethiopian website. The characters were different. It wasn't in Latin. I was looking at this website, and like the profile, I just pressed on the tab, and like a profile came up. It was a bunch of people who were, I guess, agents, like for ambassadorship, and they all of their names, they all were Ethiopian men. All of their last names had female last names. Like they took on the first name of a woman as their last name. I didn't know they did this over there. I didn't know they did this. Um, and like one thing that I noticed is that we're not supposed to take on the name of our father. We're supposed to take on the first name of our mothers, keep going back, mothers. You know what I mean? Like you're supposed to take on the first name of your mother. So like say if your mother gave you a name like uh Henry Johnson, right? Okay, that's your surname Johnson. You got Johnson from your father, right? It's really, and you have a grandmother who her name may be Marianne. It's supposed to be Henry Marianne. That's really what it's supposed to be. Um, but again, like this is just a custom, So I don't want people to get it misconstrued to think that they have to do that. I'm just a custom, right? And I know, I have a nationality ID card, and on my nationality ID card, I have a Moorish name. For those who've been following me sometime, they would know about my Moorish name, right? So I have a Moorish name. I have a Moorish ID, a Moorish nationality card. It has the flags on there and everything. It has my tribes too. So I have that, right? Um, and like I'm also enrolled in a Native American tribe as well. I have that ID too. For those who know about Hemok Shelip and what he was doing back in 2017, I enrolled. Um, so like we have that right there, right? I don't think people really realize that you're supposed to have your grandmother's first name when you're um, naming your children. You know what I mean? As opposed to like your father's last name, because most likely, right? In America, right? Um, your father's probably going to be from somewhere else, and that's what Taharka Bey was pointing at. He was pointing at that. Um, he was pointing at the fact that Tariq Nasheed, he has a German last name like Kegler, right? And I found out that Demkat Kegler, I found that Demcat and Tariq Nasheed are cousins. I didn't know that, and I tried to like find where I was um Tariq Nasheed's cousin. I was looking for a surname. But I didn't finish watching the video. I'm sure if I would have watched the video in its entirety, I would have been able to find out where I was related to Tariq Nasheed at. Because again, like when you look at everybody who's on YouTube and they're collaborating with one another, they're really collaborating from a distance, right? They don't really want to be bothered. But when you look at it, like we're all cousins, right? We just have to find out where our surnames match. We're all cousins. We truly are, right? But this is why I don't understand where the beefing part comes in at, cause like we're not supposed to be beefing, man. I think that's kind of like that's kind of out of whack to be doing that. But yeah, that's pretty much what I want to say. Today I had some sautéed potatoes with some onions. I think some sweet onions. Um, and I was gonna prepare some beans, but I just ate the onions and potatoes with some olive oil. You know what I mean? So I'm getting back to like just doing my usual thing as far as like cooking my food like I used to do before 2016, 2017. I'm getting back to that. I don't really want to like eat out anymore. I think that's kind of like that's played out really. Um, so like I want to get back to doing my home cooked meals. Um, but yeah, like I was just like I was looking at it, and then like again, like I was looking at these Ethiopians with their names, right? And like you'll see someone his name may be Muhammad Mariam. Like that's what it would say, right? And it'll have all these Ethiopian names, but like I just kept noticing that their last names kept saying Mariam, or it was a feminine name, right? It was a feminine name. I didn't know they had this custom in Africa. You know what I mean? I didn't know that. Um, but I didn't go that direction, right? And then, you know what? And maybe I should have, but I didn't. I just adopted a Moorish name. You know, I just I just adopted a Moorish name, and it translates to something. I just don't want to say it yet, but it translates to something, right? That's what I went ahead and did. So it puts me in a place that um, I really thought real long and hard through what I wanted to name myself, and I named myself back in like 2016. Um, and I found it, like I named myself after a place in Illinois. I was able to do that, and I stuck with it. It's kind of like a Islamic name, and I stuck with it. So yeah, so that's what I went ahead and did. I just got some bad news as well. My uncle Uh, he passed today. So we're going to commemorate his life, and we're going to do it the proper way. Um, I'm not sure if my relatives are going to Chicago to see his passing, his funeral. I'm not sure, but we're going to commemorate his life the right way. He was a Pan Africanist. His son, I believe his son was half Liberian. I know his son was half African, but I know his son. I think his son was Liberian. So yeah, um, we have to take time to remember um, our loved ones. We have to check up on them. We have to make sure that they're fine. We have to make sure that they're taking care of their health. Um, we have to do these things. You know what I mean? Because, like, who knows how long you'll be here, Who knows how long you'll be here? So, yeah. Um, So I'm just looking at these pictures right here, and I think this looks like either Northwest Africa or South America. Like really, you know what I mean? That's what it looks like to me. But I noticed like with this last name Times, which is my second great grandmother's name, and I think she gets Times for her father. We have to find out what our mother's mother's mother. We have to find out what our first mothers are. Like we have to find out what their maiden names are. You know what I mean? Their maiden names. Their mother's mother's maiden name. You see what I'm saying? Like I guess you can just say like you can just like adopt the first name of your grandmother. You know what I mean? Like that would be much perfect. Um, because again, like if you study haplotrees and you study haplogroups, you'll just find out that all of your mothers on your maternal side, they're from America. You know what I mean? And then on your father's side, you will see that they traveled from other places. So I've mentioned this in a past video. So yeah, man, like we all have European ancestry. No matter how dark you are, you have European ancestry. You know what I mean? You have it. So this is probably why Europeans feel like they don't owe us anything. They feel like, we're home just as well as you are home. This is how some of them feel. You know what I mean? This is how some of them feel. Um, and like I'm not really knocking it, right? I'm not really knocking it. I'm just looking at it from an eyes view. Um, you know, I know who I identify as and I know what I stand for. So that's never going to change. Um, I believe that, you have to be honorable in everything you do. And that goes along with, being loyal to those who you came with, those who you are around. You have to be loyal. You can't be sleeping out of the race. You can't be amalgamating with other cultures. You know what I mean? Like cultures, true enough, cultures they reflect the world. They connect to the world. But you know what? Nations they have to stay alive, and you can't invite someone who wants to uphold their culture to your culture. Because a lot of interracial marriages, they end up with divorce. You know what I mean? And I don't think a lot of people talk about that. That's what the whole culture is really in America. When you look at the divorce rates, it stems from amalgamation with other people. You know, when Europeans came here, everything that we stood for just kind of broke our heart. Otherwise, had we not accepted other people to come here, we would still be together. We would still be procreating with each other. We wouldn't be thinking that, we have to like not procreate with each other. A lot of people use Europeans as a batter up. You know what I mean? They use Europeans as a fix to offset the fact that, they either don't know other black people who look like them or they just don't want to associate with them, you know? But, Ancestry, this is a good website. You can find who your relatives are. You can find out, who they were. You can find out, who you're connected to. Like I said, I went back to the 1600s, you know? And like I'm going back further. So, yeah, you want to know who people are in your family, and you want to do your DNA. That's the most important thing is your DNA because that's going to tell you through sequences who you are ultimately through your blood. Through your blood percentages. It's ultimately going to tell you who you are. So, and I'm not just talking about to study up the chromosome, but I'm also talking about the study of haplotrees and haplosequences. So most importantly. So that's all I want to say in this video. Ask Ethiopians about, them using feminine last names, like Miriam. You know what I mean? That's their custom. A lot of them do that and a lot of them don't do it. But, when you do a quick search on Google and you ask them about that, they'll deflect. But like I seen it with my own eyes, right? You know what I mean? And I think they were Amhara. I don't think they were Oromo. I think they were Amhara because they were a little lighter. But this is amazing. You know what I mean? Like you can find out, what this is really about if you just study. And when you find out that you're American and your oldest haplotree is, a person in, Peru or Brazil somewhere, you find out that your oldest mother is an American woman. You know what I mean? Despite you having mixture, you know. So this is something Tahar Bay should talk about. Instead of just saying that Tariq Nasheed is Haitian. You know what I mean? But like, I don't think that's gonna go anywhere because like, I don't know if he is or not. I don't know. I haven't looked at his tree. You know what I mean? I don't know. I haven't looked at Tariq Nasheed's tree, so I don't know. But I do know this. All the people who are, saying that, you know, they're FBA, they didn't come from anywhere else, I'll just say this. Good luck to, the message you're spreading. You know what I mean? Good luck to it. It's going to be hard waking up people, trying to get them to understand what you're saying. But, this is a long fight. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be able to sway people in a direction where they can feel like, I'm more comfortable about finding out the fact that I have ancestry in America and I just wasn't someone who didn't have an importance or, in a contribution to us, the world. A lot of people feel down and out because like they feel like, they're not important to the sense that, they've contributed to civilization. So I would just say, good luck to his message, man. Like he's trying his hardest, but a lot of people just won't come around to the message. But that's all I want to say. Great peace. Yakoki.